Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this free webinar organized by Docsity in collaboration with Essex Online. This webinar is entitled Build Your Career from Home with Essex Online. I'm Victoria, and on behalf of Docsity, I would like to say welcome to everyone and thank you very much for connecting with us today and to take this opportunity to know this fantastic university. We are expecting many people from many different countries. For that reason, I want you to know that you can leave a short message and a greeting in the chat in order to write us from which country are you from, that we would love to know. And for those who are connecting now, hi, I'm Victoria, and on behalf of Docsity, I would like to say welcome to everyone to this free webinar in collaboration with Essex Online. We are expecting many people from different countries. For that reason, if you want, you can leave a greeting in the chat and write us from which country you are connected, that we are curious. And today we have an excellent panel with us. We have Hannah Burgess, Vicky Jackson, Megan Walsman, and Thomas Hermitage. Thank you guys for being here with us today in this webinar of Essex Online entitled Build Your Career from Home with Essex Online. And I read the first country. Thank you for being here with us and welcome again to this webinar. This afternoon, you will discover the online educational offer of one of the top 30 universities of UK. And so now we are going to start the free webinar entitled Build Your Career from Home. And at the end, we will have a question and answer section where you could ask questions directly to our panel in the Q&A box or in the chat. I ask you to stay until the end in order to request the certificate of attendance of this webinar. And now I will leave the floor.
Thank you, Victoria, and thank you everyone for joining us today. My name's Tom and I'm a marketing executive with the University of Essex Online. I'll just quickly introduce the speakers as Victoria has already done and today's agenda before we begin. So again, like Victoria mentioned, we're joined today by Megan Walston, who is a programme coordinator, Hannah Burgess, who is an admissions advisor, and Vicky Jackson, who is a student advisor, all with the University of Essex Online. Onto today's agenda, Megan will kick things off by taking you through the undergraduate and postgraduate courses we offer at Essex Online. Vicky will then discuss the support you'll receive throughout your studies, and Hannah will talk you through the admissions and enrolment process. And again, as Victoria mentioned, we'll have a Q&A session after that, so please do feel free to ask any questions you might have in the Q&A section, and we'll do our best to get to those at the end. So I'm just quickly going to talk a bit about the university and why you should study with us. So when you do study with the University of Essex Online, you gain a recognised qualification with a university that is ranked in the top 30 of universities in the UK, according to the Complete University Guide for 2025. There is an emphasis on the classroom experience with experienced academics who bring real-world perspectives to the courses, such as working environments. We have programmes that focus on employability, that equip students with sector-specific skills and optional modules that allow you to tailor the course to your specialism. Furthermore, we are rated silver in the Teaching Excellence Framework. We offer an interactive learning platform which is available to students 24/7. We have a cohort of tutors who ensure a quick response to student emails, and there are opportunities for one-to-one sessions with tutors and live Q&A sessions and seminars. All of our programmes are 100% online and part-time to fit around your lifestyle. No in-person attendance is required. However, you can attend graduation once you have completed your studies. And with that, I'll pass over to Megan, who's going to talk about the academic side of things.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. Have I unmuted myself? Yes. Hello, I'm Megan. I'm a program coordinator at the University of Essex Online, specifically a psychology program coordinator. So I work in the academics department. And I'm just going to talk about some of the exciting programs that we have on offer here at Essex Online. And hopefully one of these will spark your interest. So this first slide, we've got some of our undergraduate subjects. So each of our subjects are organized into a different department. So we've got the business department, the law department, the psychology department. So as you can see, we've got a few business undergrad subjects. We've got business and marketing and business and management. And then you can see that second one is a top-up course. So it's shorter if you've studied business and management before. And then we've also got the core LLB law course, which is probably the most popular, but then we also have different combined courses, law with business, law with criminology, law with psychology. So it's those course law modules and then some optional and additional modules from different courses, like if you're interested in law and also parts of criminology, the specific criminology modules. It all depends on the person, really. Can we go to the next slide, please? And then we've also got the healthcare management program, which is obviously from our health department. And then a few psychology programs. We've got, like LLB Law, our core psychology program is the BSc psychology course. It's accredited by the British Psychological Society, BPS. Which is like a regulatory body for psychology in the UK. So it's really important if you want to work as like a clinical psychologist, for example, in the UK. But then we also have combined courses as well. So like the business psychology, criminal psychology. Again, it's core psychology modules, but combined with modules from a different program. And then we also have, and it's not included on these slides, but I really want to highlight it because it's another one of our departments, which is computing. And we also have an undergraduate course in computer science at an undergraduate level. But I definitely want to encourage you to explore all of the available subjects in your own time, or to kind of speak it through with an admissions advisor, because there's lots of different stages. For example, there are lower awards like the Certificate of Higher Education, which might be more of a good starting point. You kind of do the beginning modules from a program. It's called level 4. And then if you pass those and everything's fine and you want to progress, you can progress to the full program. It's just an interesting way to get started if you're feeling a bit nervous, or like you feel like you won't be able to dedicate all your time to the course. It's interesting, and that's why you should definitely discuss it with an admissions advisor. And can we go to the next slide, please? Because we're just going to go to the postgraduate level. So if you've already studied at an undergraduate level, you've got a degree, or maybe you just have lots and lots of experience in a certain topic or subject, there's lots of programs available to postgraduate level for you to explore. So again, this is business, our business department. There's lots and lots of different business programs. We've got project management, which looks at developing professional and personal skills alongside practical techniques for managing projects. We've got business management, which is our general business masters. More specifically, there's also business management specializing in business analytics, international human resource management, global digital marketing, business with finance, and then also the MSc Supply Chain Management and Global Logistics course, which is more about sustainability, supply chain management, marketing channels, transport, all of that good stuff. And then there's also a newer program, I think from the past couple of years. So the University of Essex Online is trying constantly to build new courses, develop new courses, depending on what new students want to study. And one of them is the MSc Leadership for Sustainability. You can see it there in the business column. It's about introducing new ways to develop a strong, successful, and sustainable economic model that helps organizations achieve long-term growth. So just something new. And if it sparks your interest, then speak to an admissions advisor. can we go to the next slide, please? Those were the business programs, and then to computing. We've also got an MSc in computer science, cybersecurity, data science, and AI, artificial intelligence, which is obviously a very hot topic at the moment. And then more recently, computing have the enterprise and IT management degree as well. And these are all very problem solving and technical skills based. So great if you've got previous experience in computing or computer science or cybersecurity or things like that. You can really develop those skills. And then we've also got the education department. So we've got the Masters of Education course and the Masters of Digital Education. Obviously, lots of online education at the moment, including our university. Another interesting course. And then also the last one is the health programs. My screen has gone blank for a second. Oh, right, there they are. Masters of Public Health. We've got Global Mental Health and Wellbeing, Infection Control, International Healthcare Management, and also Nursing. Really specific topics, but if you're interested in them, please have a look at the course details, the types of assignments you'll be doing, speak to an admissions advisor. All of these courses are taught by active industry leaders. So it's important that you'll get that kind of real life experience from listening to someone who's experienced in that, even though it's not in real life, if that makes sense. You're still hearing from people who are active in the industry and really passionate about the different subjects. And the last slide, please, which is more my speciality. So we've got the MSc in criminology and criminal psychology. It is psychology related, but it's managed by our criminology department. And it's about addressing crime origins, offender treatment, and also defining crimes. And then similarly, but also quite different, is our law course, which is international business law. It's about contract law, world trade operation procedures, and competition law at a national and an international level. And then finally, we have our two postgraduate psychology programs, the MSc Psychology and the more recent course, the MSc Organizational Psychology. So one's the basis, the core psychology program, and the other one is more specific to business psychology, organizational psychology, that kind of thing. And so all our programs, both undergraduate and postgraduate, have a dissertation at the end of them. So you'd be doing independent research in a chosen area, something that relates to the program that you're doing. And it's a really good opportunity to do some primary research or secondary research in an area that you're really interested in. And yeah, is there anything else I want to say about this before I pass on to Vicky? So I've only briefly outlined these courses. I've really quickly gone through them, the different academic teams that we have, but there's so much more information on the University of Essex Online website. So head over, check out the details and find a course that's perfect for you, hopefully. And with that, I'll pass on to Vicky, who will talk about some support available for our students. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Megan. Hi, everyone. I'm Vicky, and I work within the student support team, which is a team within our student services department. I specifically work within the law student support team, so a special hello to any budding law students today, but of course to everybody. And I'm going to outline the different types of support available to our students, which includes student support, study skills, student welfare, and also student experience, as you can see on this slide. Student support is something that we take very seriously here at Essex Online, and it is central to everything that we do. As our students are studying online part-time and also usually alongside many other personal commitments as well, we do recognise the challenges that they might face and the importance of a solid support network as a result. So firstly, we're going to take a look at the student support team. Perfect, thank you. At the University of Essex Online, all students have access to a team of student support advisors dedicated to their specific subject area. So, for example, the law student support team only support law students, the business student support team support business students, and so on. This means that the support that you receive is tailored and specific to your programme of study. But whilst the student support team have not necessarily studied that specific subject area themselves, and it's our module tutors and academic teams that can provide that subject-specific academic support where needed, the role of the student support team is to provide advice and guidance on non-academic areas. So things such as study choices, course progression, academic policies and procedures such as late submissions and remark requests. We also advise on options available in times of difficulty, and we keep in regular contact throughout the study journey just to ensure that everything's on track and that our students are experiencing no issues. The student support team also welcome new students and help them to settle into study by providing regular catch-ups and a meet the team welcome session each time we have a new intake of students. The support that we provide during the induction process is very important to us, and this support continues all the way throughout your studies. The student support team specifically can be contacted by phone, email, and we do also have a live chat system on our learning platform. We do use Zoom as well as a contact method if this is preferable, and we are available Monday to Friday, excluding UK bank holidays. Student support working hours are 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. between Monday and Thursday, and then 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. on a Friday. And this allows plenty of opportunity for students to get in touch with us, no matter where they are in the world, taking into account time differences and also just generally their personal commitments as well, as mentioned earlier. Next, we have the study skills team. So that's on the next slide. Our study skills advisors are on hand to help students develop various academic skills, such as planning assignments, academic honesty and referencing, things like using the e-library, and also just more general skills such as time management as well. The study skills team are also contactable by email and telephone, and they do also offer various one-to-one support sessions through Zoom as well. The study skills team maintain our study skills hub, which is a designated area on the learning platform that contains a variety of different resources and guidance documents on all sorts of topics such as reading and research, academic writing, critical thinking, and also referencing. They also offer wider workshops and a study skills specific welcome session for each new intake of students as well. So you have the opportunity to meet the team from the get-go. The team are available Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. UK time. Moving on, we will have a look at the student welfare team. So our student welfare teams concentrate on various non-academic issues, so things such as disability support, well-being and safeguarding. They offer more specific types of guidance or can signpost students for further assistance where necessary. So just as some examples of what the team does, our disability team is here to provide support and guidance to students with specific needs arising from either a disability or a long-term illness. They might be able to put in place reasonable adjustments specific to your needs by implementing what we call a reasonable adjustment plan, which is just a really personalised plan based, of course, on your circumstances and how your disability or long-term illness affects you to best support you throughout your studies. We also have safeguarding officers in place, as we recognise that we do have a duty of care in creating a safe online environment for all of our students to undertake their studies. And finally, we have our student experience team. So that's just on the next slide. Perfect, thank you. It's really important to us that our students feel that they are part of a learning community. Many students do naturally worry that studying online might be quite a lonely experience, but this is something that we definitely strongly disagree with. We provide plenty of opportunities for students to build relationships, ask questions, network, and just help one another, largely through student forums on the learning platform. These include department forums and the Student Voice Forum, where students can discuss non-subject specific matters that relate to everybody. We also have a student council in place, which was established to help us work more closely with the learning community. And our student council members have regular meetings with university staff to discuss various topics that affect all students. Another thing that we have in place is end of module surveys. So students are encouraged to provide feedback on their studies through these end of module surveys, which are generally available sort of the final week of each individual module. All student comments are collated and shared with the relevant members of staff so that they can be reviewed and discussed, and honest feedback is greatly welcomed and considered. By doing this, we can continue working on improving the service that we provide even further, just ensuring that the student experience remains positive. Our student experience team are also largely involved in the planning of our graduation ceremonies, which take place every year on campus at the University of Essex. This is probably one of the most important things about studying anywhere, but studying online. So even though our students do study online, they definitely still have the opportunity to celebrate their success in person, as they deserve. Ultimately, the goal of all of these teams combined is just to help students successfully complete their programs and celebrate with them at the graduation ceremony at the end. I hope you found this information about the Student Services Department helpful. I'll now hand over to Hannah, who will provide some information about the admissions process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'm just going to be talking to you about the admissions process. So the first point of call would just be make an inquiry about our courses. So usually you would just request for a web brochure that will then be assigned to an advisor such as myself, and we will be in contact with you. We'll usually send you a course information email, and then obviously give the opportunity to ask any questions that you have. We will usually call you as well, but if you would prefer, we will just contact you over email. If you do decide that there is a course that you want to apply for, you can apply online. It is free to apply, and you can withdraw at any time during the application process. So once you've made an application, we will request certain documents from students, and this will then be reviewed. And then once approved, we will send you an offer letter. So we'll give you a quick call and double check which intake you'd like to come on to, and also how you would like to make payments for the programme. And obviously, if you do not quite meet the requirements, there may also be other options in place. As mentioned before, there is a Cert HE route. So sometimes if you're not eligible for a bachelor's, for example, we will offer the Cert HE route in place of that. And then if you can move on to the next slide. So we have different entry requirements, obviously, for our courses. So undergraduate, so the Cert HE actually requires no previous academic or work experience. So if you're not quite eligible for the bachelor's, we usually recommend this one, or it's just a great route to go down if you're not quite ready to do a full bachelor's. So what would happen is you would do your level 4, and then you would progress straight onto the level 5 of the bachelor's. It would take you the same amount of time, and it would cost you the same amount of money. It's just a slightly different route in. We also have the bachelor's, so the entry requirements for all the bachelor's programs are the same. So we would require 3 A-levels or equivalent. We do accept international qualifications. So if you're not quite sure what they're equivalent to, A-levels is high school in the UK, but there are slightly different levels. So just make an application, send in your certificates and your transcripts, and we will look at that for you and let you know if you meet the requirements or not. We also have work experience entry routes. So for undergraduate, we would need GCSE, maths and English at grade C or above. Again, if you're unsure, we will have a look at those certificates for you and let you know the comparison of those. And then on top of that, obviously, it is a work experience route. So we would require at least 3 years of relevant work experience. Again, if you are unsure if your work experience is relevant, we will have a look at that for you. So just make sure to send in an up-to-date CV with all of your roles that you've had. This does include volunteer work as well, but sometimes we can accept that. Also English language requirements. So if you are from a non-English speaking country, we will also request for proof of English proficiency. So we do accept things like IELTS. There are a couple of other English tests that we do accept. So again, if you're unsure, just get in contact with admissions and we'll let you know. And that would be a minimum of 6.0. And then we do also offer a free online English test called Kite. We will send you login details for that if you request it. You can complete the test and then obviously we'll let you know if you pass that. If you can move on to the next one. Now, entry requirements for postgraduate, obviously they're a little bit different. So for the academic entry route, we would require a bachelor's degree. So this is an undergraduate degree and it has to be equivalent to a UK honours degree. So honours in the UK does attest to whether you've done a dissertation or a research project. Again, if you are uncertain, just make an application. We would need your official certificates and transcripts. They do have to be stamped and signed by the institution. And if they are in another language, we would require them to be translated. Usually the university can just do that for you for free, or you can just use any other service. And then for the work experience route, if you didn't quite meet the academic route, or you only have work experience, we would, in most cases, it is just minimum of 3 years of relevant work experience. But then for some of our business programs, for example, the Master of Business Management, we would require at least 5 years of senior level work experience. And again, it's very important that you provide an detailed CV so that we can see what work experience you have and we can request the appropriate references. So we do have our own reference forms and we do not accept already written references. So that's just something to note. And then English language, again, it is slightly higher for postgrad. So for IELTS, we'd need 6.5 minimum. And then again, we've got the online English test as an option as well. If we can move on to the next one. So here is a bit about the fees. So as you can see, students who are residing in the UK, they are slightly less. So as you can see here, so HE, for example, they're 6167. And if you live outside the UK, they are 6799. Now, these fees are for the new academic year. So that will run from August 1st, 24 to August 1st, 25. If you are interested in joining onto a programme after August 1st, 25, we will need to just give you the new course fees, but they are not available just yet. And then as you can see, the fees are there for the top-up programme as well, and then all for the bachelor's programmes. And then there are certain tax that are applicable to certain countries, so such as India and Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, these taxes are out of our control though. So again, if you are uncertain whether the tax applies to you, we will let you know. If you can move on to the next one. And then again, same again for postgraduate tuition fees. So they are slightly less for UK students, slightly more for international students. And again, the taxes may apply. Just something to note, if you are a national of India, for example, but don't live there, the taxes will not apply. The tax is based on where you reside and not your nationality. If you can move on to the next one. So we have different payment options available for students. So we have obviously the loan option for UK residents. You do have to be living in the UK for a minimum of 3 years to be eligible for that. If you are unsure if you're eligible, we would always advise getting in contact with Student Finance England directly. And we will send you a link for this when you make an inquiry. We'll send you a link to the right page for that, and also will provide you with a number. So I would always suggest just giving them a call and checking that you are eligible for the loans. And then for self-funding students, there are 2 options. So you can either pay for the course monthly, so that is spread over the duration of the programme. So for example, if you've applied for bachelor's, you would have the full amount and you would spread that over 48 months, which is the duration of the programme. Alternatively, if you're in a position where you can pay for it upfront, you will be provided a 5% discount. And there are also options for your employer to make a payment, but obviously that's something that students would have to do externally. If you have studied at the University of Essex before, and that just means if you've done a full degree, so bachelor's or master's, you are eligible for a 10% alumni discount. And there are also partial scholarships available for students residing in specific regions outside of the UK. So UK students aren't eligible for any scholarships. The fees are slightly less for them anyway. If you are uncertain about whether you'd be eligible for a scholarship, please just get in contact with the admissions team and we can let you know. There is a long list of countries and we can obviously let you know what discount you would get for that. We are also offering a 20% impact scholarship, and this is only available on certain master's programmes. So again, just reach out to us. I believe this is only available for the October intake, so that's our final intake for this year. So again, reach out and see if you would be applicable for that scholarship. And then also we do have a 21-day money back guarantee. So this is called a reverse start period. So from your intake within 21 days, if you do decide the course isn't for you or it's not the right time for whatever reason, if you do decide to withdraw, you will get your full money back, full money refunded. Just the final slide, please. So just a little bit about how to apply. So we obviously want to make it as seamless as possible. It is quite a quick turnaround. So once you've made the application, you would basically just apply on through our website. There is an online web application page. Again, links would be sent when you initially make your inquiry with admissions. We will ask for certain documents. So a 300 to 500 word personal statement. There are tips on the application page that you can follow, but we are mainly looking for why you're interested, why you've chosen online study, what skills you can bring to the course, things like that. We would need a form of photo ID. So an official passport is what we most likely would like. What we would prefer. It has to be in date. And then we can also accept a driver's license if you don't have that. And in some cases, a birth certificate. However, we do prefer photo ID. We would need copies of your educational certificates and your transcripts. Again, as mentioned, they have to be official, so stamped and signed, and then a copy of your CV. And then finally, we do also request for proof of your address. So this can just be a copy of a utility bill or a bank statement. And then obviously, if additional documents are required, such as references, we will request those. But that's pretty much everything from the admissions side of things.
Thank you, Hannah and Vicky and Megan as well for the presentation. We'll be moving on to the Q&A section now. I'm not sure if you want to take over here, Victoria, or I can ask the questions.
I would like to thank you for your interesting presentation and for giving us the opportunity to learn more about the course on offer, how students are supported through their studies, and all the admission process. And I read the first Q&A question, so I think we can start by reading the first one. Okay, so do you offer any job placement service or internship? If yes, in which countries?
Yeah, I think that's one best answered by myself. Unfortunately, because we have students literally all over the world, it is really difficult for us to assist with job placements and internships. So it's not necessarily something we can directly support you with. And it would be the student's discretion to sort of find those for themselves. However, that being said, we can assist with things such as academic references from tutors, if you do need any sort of references for any internships or placements. And we can maybe offer just some more general sort of advice and guidance on where to find job placements and internships, just general advice and guidance on where to start, maybe sort of what to include within CVs and applications and things like that. That's probably something that our academic team can help you with. But otherwise, unfortunately, it is something that is just at the student's own discretion to find.
Thank you very much, Vicky. And another question is, about the attendance. One question can I attend the class when I prefer?
Yeah, I think that's another one best answered by me. So in terms of classes, our sort of live seminars and all live sessions within our modules are, of course, scheduled live, as I've just mentioned. However, as you can probably appreciate, it is very difficult for tutors to find a time that suits everybody when we have such a diverse student body. So seminars and live classes are scheduled based on your tutor's own individual availability. If the time and date doesn't work for you, that's absolutely fine. Attendance to live sessions is not something that we track as such. So you won't be told off for not attending a live session. That's not a problem. And you don't really even need to inform your tutor that you won't be attending. All of our live sessions are recorded and uploaded within the module within 24 hours. So you'll have the opportunity to catch up when you'd like to. There's no deadlines as to when you need to catch up by. Of course, it's best to catch up within that week just to make sure you don't fall too far behind. But otherwise, the only thing that you will need to ensure that you complete by a specific date and time are your formal deadlines, so your assignments, which will be very clearly outlined within a module as well. But for classes, it's absolutely fine to catch up in your own time on the recordings if you can't attend live.
Thank you again, Vicky. Another question is, how long does the process of being selected for a scholarship typically take?
So I can answer that one. So it's just based on where you reside. So once you've made your application, we would need obviously your ID and also proof of your address. So from there we would review where you live, and then obviously we would look at the list and see if you are eligible for a partial scholarship. And from there it would just be automatically applied to the payment plan. It's not something that you actually need to apply for. So yeah.
Thank you, Anna. And I read some questions also in the chat. One is for WLB program. It's also equivalent to Juris Doctor.
So the LLB program is in line with the SQE regime, and it does prepare you for the bar exam. The thing about the LLB program, it is based on UK common law. So what we kind of advise in admissions is if you're in the UK, then it's fine. If you're in Canada, usually it's fine. But it's something just to double check externally. Obviously, it's based on UK common law, and you just need to make sure you know what the route is to become a lawyer in your own country, because it does differ everywhere.
Perfect, thank you. Another question is, can a top-up bachelor degree replace a full-time bachelor degree? If I graduate from a top-up program, can I apply for a master degree?
I can answer that, but it's very specific because the top-up bachelor's degree we have is the business one, so that's very specific. And as a psychology person, I'm not 100% sure. So let me just see this question. Replace a full-time. From my understanding, it's not a substitute for like a BSc business management degree. It's more, from my understanding, if you've, and tell me if I'm wrong, Hannah, you probably know more about business top-ups than me. It's if you've studied and then you want to convert, is it something to do with accreditation?
So the top-up degree, so if you've done level 4 and level 5, so the first 2 years of a bachelor's specifically in business and management, you can then apply for the top-up, and then it will give you that full bachelor's. And yes, you can then go on and apply for a full master's program if you wanted to. So you have to have studied business and management because the modules have to map over. So I guess that's the best way to answer that question.
So you need to have done level 4 modules
and 5.
Level 5 modules, and then you're just doing the level 6 modules.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So yeah, definitely not a replacement for a full bachelor's degree, but if you've done part of a bachelor's degree, then definitely something to look into. And like Hannah said, then you can look at applying for a master's, which would be great.
Thank you very much for the answer. Another question is, do you offer some English courses?
Nothing in English. No, nothing in English language, no. I know that there's an English course that you can do to improve your English in order to then go on to one of our courses, but I'm not sure what the question is. But no, we don't offer any courses in specifically English language. No, unfortunately not.
Nothing specific in English language. Sorry, Vicky, you might want to talk about study skills. I was just thinking we do have English language support, if you want to say it, Vicky.
Yeah, that's what I was about to jump in with. So if you're interested in sort of studying a different actual course, not an English course, but just need English language support, then our study skills team that I spoke about earlier can help with non-academic skills. And one of those things is English language support. So you can set up sort of one-to-one support sessions with our study skills advisors. There's 1 or 2 of them that are sort of that's just focus on English language support, so they're very much sort of trained in how to support students in that area. And even if you'd like to sort of send over an essay, for example, if you're worried about your English language in essays and things like that, they'd be more than happy to take a look and offer you some feedback as well. So there's lots of English language support for your course once you are enrolled with us.
Yeah, academic English language is difficult. So if you've passed the KITE exam and your English language is good enough to study, but you're still struggling with that, then we do have support, but nothing specific, like you said, an English language course. But anyway.
Thank you. Another question is about the lecture. So if students, professor and classmates have a place to interact.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, there are the bi-weekly seminars, which are a great place to interact. Of course, it's not always possible for everybody to attend live, as I mentioned, but we do encourage students to join live if they can, as they are just a really great opportunity to engage with your tutor, other students within your module, and also ask questions in a sort of live session as well, which can sometimes be more beneficial than just sending your questions over email and things like that. Otherwise, there are plenty of other opportunities for students to sort of engage with each other. We do have a chat function on our learning platform where you can just send private messages to students. If you know, want to discuss something just completely personal, hobbies, things like that, or if you'd like to ask questions about the course. We do also have some student forums that are based on sort of hobbies and things. So we have a pets forum, for example. People like to share pictures and information about their pets. The same goes for food. That's always an interesting one. So there's lots of places where you can chat and things like that. And some of our students as well, it's not something that we necessarily manage, but a lot of our students decide to set up WhatsApp groups. So once they're active within a module, if they're comfortable sharing their personal phone numbers, then a lot of students do set up WhatsApp groups, and that's a great way to sort of stay in touch with people as well and just ask questions amongst other students.
Thanks a lot, Vicky. Another question is how do the exam take place?
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, amongst most of our courses or all of our courses, there's actually no sort of formal examinations where you need to sit down and complete an exam. The closest thing that we do have to that is oral presentations. So depending on which course you are involved in, as a law student support advisor, I know within the law with the law department, students do partake in a lot of oral presentations, as you can imagine. So that's probably the closest thing to an examination. Otherwise, students are mainly assessed through written essays. So some of them might be problem-based questions, scenarios. Some of them might just be more sort of bog standard questions that you need to answer. We do also have discussion forum activities. So these are discussions that are generally open for around 2 to 3 weeks. You'll be provided with a discussion topic and then a certain number of posts to make by a certain deadline. Other assessment types include journal entries, which are reflective writing pieces. So yeah, there are a variety of assessment types. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my words out. Some of them are worth a lot less than other assignments towards an overall module grade, but everything, of course, totals up to the 100% that the module is worth. But yeah, in terms of examinations specifically, everything is just sort of assignments, no formal exams.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting because I was not aware of that. And I see other question, okay, about the typical duration of the program, and also a question, is it possible to complete the WLB in 3 years?
The length of a program obviously is very dependent on the program that you're enrolled within. Just to answer the LLB in 3 years one specifically, it may be possible, and this applies to other courses as well. One option that we do have is for students to study 2 modules at the same time, what we refer to as doubling up. There are a few sort of caveats and things that need to be in place for that to happen. So for example, if a student has a failed module on record, they wouldn't be permitted to double up, and that's just so we can just make sure that everything's running smoothly and they've recovered that failed module before they sort of take on double the workload. But if a student would like to do that, if they are financially eligible to do that, and if they feel that they, can take on double the workload within that specific time period, then that's something that they are more than welcome to do. And with just going back to the question about the LLB in 3 years, that is something that is possible if a student does that a couple of times throughout their studies.
Thank you very much. I see other question about do you offer any laboratory to train the students? I think it's different from a trainship, but some, I think, practical classes. I don't know.
It's not something that I'm personally aware of, no.
No, there isn't any practical element to any of the programs, no.
In terms of practical, I will say, like it depends. Like obviously, we're not going to be going to a lab and doing things in person, but there is practical elements, if that makes sense. So just from listening to someone who speaks about their experience practically, but also doing things, again, just using my experience as the psychology department coordinator, things like statistical data analysis software and things like something called SPSS, or there's something else called JASP or Jamovi. I know these are in a couple of other programs, but these are things that are used every day in a lab setting to analyze data, and this is really built into the course. So yeah, it's not like you're in a lab, but you are doing things that would happen. But yeah, it's not a lab setting. I just wanted to bring that up because it's interesting.
Thank you very much. And another question is about okay. How many students are enrolling? The specific question is in BA top-up programs, but we can extend the question to how many people usually there is in a class.
Average class sizes, do you
Yeah.
mean? Or like how
Yeah.
many people do we get on an intake? Or
I really don't know the question in specific, but I
I'm just
think,
looking at the
yeah.
question. BA top up. I don't know. Hannah, do you do business top ups?
So it's
people
as an intake, it's not something we could confirm. People come on last minute, but class sizes are capped at around 20. So we can confirm the class sizes, but not how many people would actually be on a full intake.
I'd agree with that. It's, yeah, maximum about 20 people in your class, but there could be 10 people in the class, and then you've all got to work together with your discussion, that kind of thing. It really just depends. We have so many intakes. What is it? Four different intakes a year or something. So it just depends on the month, on how many people are signing up.
Some are much more popular. So for example, October is a very, very popular intake just because of the time of year. But yeah, we can't really confirm how many on a full intake.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, and another question is about are there any international exchange opportunity like Erasmus program?
Yes, that's a similar answer to the internships and placements, unfortunately, just because of how diverse the student body is. It's not something that we personally run or can assist students with too much. But again, if they wanted to sort of seek that out on their own, we'd support in any way that we can with things like references.
Thank you. And I'm going to check other question because some are very specific. So I suggest to all of you that if you have a more specific question, write or visit the website of Access or write an email in order to have a more personalized answer.
Yeah, reach out directly and we can answer you specifically.
So, okay. One question is about the tuition. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, I read another question. And does the sponsorship application be applicable for every country, also outside the Europe?
So is that for the scholarship?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's most places in the EU you aren't eligible for a scholarship. So I can see that they're from Kenya. So I know that they're eligible for a 15% discount. We don't offer full scholarships, it's just something to note. So they are only partial ones, and the most would be about 15%, and that applies to all students residing in Africa.
Okay. And I don't know if there are more questions. Okay. No.
I can see one about email addresses. Am I okay to answer that one?
Yes, perfect.
And it's also about student ID card, actually. Vicky might be better on that one. But Andrew, will the students receive an email address from the University of Essex? And then he's given an example. Yeah, when you sign up, because obviously it's the University of Essex Online and we're partnered with the University of Essex, you get that email address, your name, at essex.ac.uk. I will say that a lot of your communication with the university and like student support and your tutor can go through your personal email address, which is good, helpful for some people. But if you want it to be through the official university email address, then just let us know and that's fine. And a student ID card, do you know anything about that, Vicky?
Yeah, so ID cards specifically aren't something that we provide just because they're not really needed, to be honest, like a physical card. But if a student does need any sort of confirmation of study, we can provide literally what we call a confirmation of studies letter, which is just like a signed and headed PDF document that we can send to you by email. So you can sort of print that out if you need that, or send it on to somebody via email, and it would just confirm that you are a student at the University of Essex Online, confirm your course and just some further details, so things like your start date, your provisional end date and things. So that would be sort of official confirmation if you need it for anything. The university email address does come into it as well, because we do get students asking if it's possible for them to benefit from student discounts. So obviously this will depend on where in the world you are, but in the UK there are apps like Uni Days and things like that that require the student email address. So you can sort of set that up with your student email address, verify it, and then you can make use of student discounts that way as well. I'm not too sure if there's places that accept the confirmation of studies letter as student discount, but it's worth a try. But yeah, we're happy to provide that for you. The only thing to consider is that we can't provide it until after you have passed the induction, sort of like the first couple of weeks, but it's definitely something we can provide for you.
Perfect. So thank you very much, and thank you everyone for staying with us today, this afternoon. And thank you, Vicky, Megan, Hannah, and also Thomas, that I don't know if you are still here. But now
Yes.
I'm going to send in the chat the link in order to receive the certificate of attendance. Okay, Sam. And I would like to remind everyone that you are going to receive the recording of this webinar in the next few days and some additional material about Essex Online. And I don't know if some of you or also all of you would like to leave the participant with a final message.
Fine by me. Does anyone want to close it off? I was just going to say thank you so much for attending and for all your questions, everyone. It's great.
Yeah, thank you very much. And obviously, if you are unsure about anything, just reach out to admissions. There is a lot of us and we'll help you answer any questions. So
Get in touch.
Yep, thank you. And I think of course, if you email the admissions team in the first instance and it's more of a student support question or an academic question, then it will definitely be forwarded on to the relevant team as well. So we'll definitely get an answer for you.
Yeah, and I'd just say as well, thank you everyone for attending and for all the questions as well. It's been a really good session.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, and have a nice evening. Goodbye.
thank you.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.